I don't know what the hell happened there. My monitors are going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. The monitors are going in. The monitors are going out. The monitors are going everywhere. It's like the giant quarterback room. Sometimes they work. Most of the times they don't. Hope everyone had themselves a good evening. It is a Wednesday afternoon after that Knicks debacle. Do we really want to talk about the Knicks debacle? No. Do we want to talk about the fact that the Sixers are such a Bush League organization that the CEO bought 2,000 tickets? So it wouldn't seem like it. All the Knick fans are there. Knick Nation, just show up in force. We did a video today about the Giants, of course, and about the. And if you didn't watch it, go watch it. I'll wait. Oh, wait, it's like 23 minutes long. About what we did in the draft, what we have going on free agency, what we have in the salary cap. And we signed David Long Jr., not the linebacker, the defensive back that was with 3 teams last year and had 12 tackles. So you know he's going to be solidifying the defensive backfield.
That's what she said.
Sorry. You know that's what's going to happen. If we would have signed David Long, the linebacker, I would have been happy when he left Tennessee and went to Miami for peanuts. And had basically the same season that Bobby Okereke had. And we gave him 10 plus million. But you know what? You got to look at this team. You got to look at this franchise. You just have to. You got to look at all of it. And you got to look at from the expectations of where are we at? Where are we going? And then I saw some things with the venerable Carl Banks that made me laugh because it was like, he's like, well, the quarterback room's improving and all this stuff. And once again, I posted, you can't keep filling a bucket with water when the bucket has a hole in it. And Daniel Jones is the bucket with the hole in it because all you're doing is dumping in Darren Waller, Kenny G, Darius Slayton, Wanda Robinson, Kadarius Toney, Golden Tate, Dane Bellinger, Saquon Barkley, Evan Ingram, and all of a sudden, the bucket is still draining water, and we can't figure out why. And at no point in time are we sitting there going, motherfucker, maybe it's the bucket. Maybe it's not the water we're buying. Maybe it's not Aquafina. Maybe we got it out of the tap, but it's not the water. It's the bucket. The bucket's broken. The bucket has a hole in it. And you are expecting something entirely different out of this bucket. I love it because the 30 plus people that are already coming in the room like, what the fuck is he talking about buckets? What the hell's wrong with him? I thought we're coming here to talk about the Giants. This guy's talking about buckets. It's called an analogy. You look at the fact that we're probably going to be about anywhere 14, 18 million in the negative. We're going to have to restructure Andrew Thomas's contract. You're probably going to have to hope Waller retires, and then you're probably going to have to touch the Daniel Jones contract because you're still going to be in the negative with the operational cap space that you are going to be needing to make moves in reference to taking people off the practice squad. Kind of like how we lost.
King of the almost sack.
And that trade was such a great trade because we got the assets. We got Brian Burns, which is a carbon copy of Kayvon Thibodeau. And then I laugh because we still owe him $10 million, Leonard Williams, that is. And he's taking away about 5% of our cap space for a player that we no longer have his services. So you take that and you add it on to the Brian Burns salary for this year, and the contract's not looking that awesome. I mean, and like I said today, am I the only one that sees this? Am I the only one that gets caught up in this when I keep looking at it going, we are stuck. And I'm going to get to everyone in the chat, but I got to pontificate a moment. We are stuck in the same cycle that we've always been for the last 11 years. It's the same vicious cycle over and over again. And something's got to change. You change general managers, you change coaches, you change head coaches. It starts at the top. And people are like, well, we'll get a quarterback next year. You have to make sure you're not good enough, or you have to be bad enough to get maybe a top 5 pick. So what, we're going to have another 4 or 5 win season to be bad for another year or another 2 years?
Gentlemen, which brings me to my next point. Don't smoke crack.
Charlie, that's for you. I saw Charlie in the chat early. So I was like, I have to push that button. Sorry, I got people. Big Don, I'm sorry I missed your call. I was eating dinner. Oh, what do we got in here? We got James Williams saying, hit the like button as soon as you walk into the club. And here we go. It's the James. It's the Big Don. Big David says, yes, sir. T-Dog and the OBB family. What's up? I always love it, man, because you got so many people that just don't get this show. And I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again.
Now, wait a minute, y'all. This dance ain't for everybody. Only the sexy people.
That's what it's for, guys. That's what it's for. You may not get it. You may not like it, but the people that get it understand football. They understand the nuances of not only the Giants, but hopefully I've imparted some wisdom in regards to the salary cap, but player management, the ability to understand that you have to keep building on a foundation, that you have to keep doing these things. And when you continuously do the same things over and over again, like the whole garbage of we don't want to reach. We're not going to reach for a quarterback at 6. We're not reaching. Okay, you needed a safety. And more than likely, the kid we grabbed probably would have been in the hundreds last year. And we took him in the 40s. Needed a corner. But that wasn't a reach, even though we needed a safety. Needed a corner, even though we signed David Long Jr. We needed a corner. So we took Phillips. Not a reach, though. Why? Because we needed a corner. Needed a tight end because we got to improve the tight end. Not a reach, though. So you grab the kid at Penn State. Not a reach. Let's see here. I'll be there for the company commentary and the Giants takes. I'm officially a Jags fan. Just ordered a hat and a Trevor Lawrence number 16 home jersey. Joe Rev, I got your address today. I'm very happy. Thank you for sending me your address finally. Oh, we got Omega Supreme.
Let's roll!
No, that's not. That's well.
Autobots, roll out. We roll.
What's up, Timothy? My cryo chamber is under maintenance. Unfortunately, is due to being open to 2030 when the G-Men finally rebuild their greatness. Juan says, what's up, Tim? What's up on like Big Blue? OG is in his house. What's up, OG Knockout? Charlie, which brings me to my next lesson.
Gentlemen, which brings me to my next point. Don't smoke crack.
Charlie, why? Okay. First of all, Charlie, fuck you for bringing that up. Fuck you and the horse you rode it on. There are people that are excited about starting Drew Lock. And you know, Charlie, I love you. I love you, Charlie. But there are people that are actually excited about starting Drew Lock. They think this is going to be this great thing. We're going to start Drew Lock. He was in the same draft as Daniel Jones. You want to talk about, hey, good he looked against the Giants. It was the ineptitude of the Giant defense that made him look good. And he didn't even look that good. But there are people that are like, we're rolling with Luck. We're going to lock in with Luck. We're locking in. Yeah, we're locking into 4 wins. 4 tackles on a team. That's consistency, baby. Well, he didn't have 4 tackles on the team. That was the problem. David Long Jr. didn't have 4 tackles on each of the team on the 3 teams. He was, hey, we love Daniel Jones party. That's sarcasm.
You're back.
What? Warning, sarcasm. Warning, sarcasm.
Just remember when sarcasm, you know what? If you want the sarcasm button, say that's sarcasm, Tim. Button 24. We have 3 holes.
That's what she said.
In the bucket. Locke, DeVito are holes as well. They are holes. They are very big holes. You get people like, I tune in here to talk about Giants. These idiots are talking about buckets. What's going on, Mr. Online Big Blue? Sir. It's like for those that do not know anyone that works in the Giant organization, especially people who've been there a long time, they tell stories about John Mara. It goes Mr. John Mara. Everything's Mr. Well, I talked to Mr. John Mara this morning. At this point in time, I was in the office of Mr. John Mara. It was like a robot. You want to talk about people being brainwashed? I was like, blink twice if you need me to get you out of here. What's up, Tim and OBB family? Working as usual, just dropping in to get your thoughts on Carson Beck. Could be someone we might be looking at in the draft. Carson Beck, I got to wait and see what Carson Beck does. There is no certainties ever when you draft a quarterback, and I understand that. When you have a class where there's when there are 5 guys at the top of this class that will more than likely have an opportunity to excel. You take a look at the 83 class and the 5 guys. Only one of those guys truly flamed out, and that was Todd Blackledge. Kenny O'Brien still took his team to the playoffs, played well. Tony Eason still went to a Super Bowl. Jim Kelly, we know Jim Kelly. We understand Dan Marino, and we get the venerable John Elway. But at the end of the day, you can't sit there and say, all these guys are going to turn into something like that. But I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. You can't get a hit if you don't take the shoulder off, if you don't take the bat off the shoulder. And I think it was Mr. Fitness, who sometimes I go back and forth with. And he was telling me about all this stuff. And he's like, well, you do this and this. I'm glad we didn't reach this and this. And I literally told them, you cannot get a base hit if you don't swing the bat. And we haven't swung the bat since the likes of Kyle Laletta. Or whoever the hell it was, Kyle Laletta. What am I saying, Kyle Laletta? I don't know who the hell I'm talking about right now. I'm looking at Carson Beck. I did not know Carson Beck has been with Georgia since 2020. So he's going to be another 5-year senior. Not a big fan of that. Not a big fan of that. Next season, Joe Shane will be drafting in the top again with 3rd year in a row. So in year 4, we should have a good team, right? Year 5, we should have the best team in the league. The problem is you keep getting bogged down in the salary cap hell. And I don't get why. You look at the Eagles. They draft, they retool, they resign. You look at the Giants, they draft, they fail, they go somewhere else. Our guys that do succeed sign somewhere else, and we just keep redrafting. And not well. Mr. Albert says, hey, Tim, Daniel Jones fans believe he will be the top 10 quarterback at this rate. Ghetto fraud, Shane will probably feel the same way. Delusional fan base. It's been 5 years. And the Daniel Jones fools are out in force again. What the blank? You're out in force again because you got Chippy, my neighbors. You got neighbors. Yes, 100%. A great wide receiver is not going to make your quarterback elite. Your quarterback usually makes the people around them better. I've never seen in the NFL since I've been watching a wide receiver. People draft a wide receiver and go, he's going to make my quarterback better. Most people are like, the quarterback makes those around them better because they get paid the most money. No. Not the Shane philosophy. No, not the Shane philosophy. Shane philosophy, everything's reversed. It's Bizarro World. I don't even know a lot about Superman, but I know Bizarro World. Moet, what's going on? What's good, Tim? Well, the Knicks lost and Drew Lock may start. It's bad that I want Drew Lock to beat out Daniel Jones. I don't want DJ on the field at all. Injuries blanked us next year as well, too. What's up? Everything's up. I don't know. T-Brad says, can we start over under what's the top Daniel Jones excuse? All right, I'm going to give it very simple. Top Daniel Jones excuse is going to be this. He doesn't have the offensive line. We should have drafted an O-lineman. You have deficiencies in the offensive line, the defensive end position, the cornerback position, the linebacker position, and the safety position, and the quarterback position, and the guard position, and potentially the tackle position, and the running back position. Yeah, we're good at punter and kicker. And don't worry, Tracy's going to return punts. Hey, Tim, I think the Giants will be 8-9 if they get the 2000 version. Now, if they get the 2020 version of Daniel Jones, they are going to they're going to win 6 games. The 2000 version of Daniel Jones sucked. Tennessee doesn't miss the field goal. That's a loss. Jacksonville doesn't get stopped at the 1. That's a loss. The 2 interceptions that got called back on bad calls in Jacksonville that Daniel Jones threw that people forget, that's a loss. There's like 3 other games that we won that we probably should have lost. When your quarterback can barely crack 170 yards and throws 15 touchdowns in 16 games and people think that's a good season, Stanley, no. You know this. T-Rod says, hit the like button. People, what's up, Douglas? I thought the Giants organizations don't believe in tanking. Going into the season when Daniel Jones as a starter sounds like a tank to me. Mr. Alvarez says, I liked TJ Tampa better than Phillips because Tampa played, he got like Banks, and then when you would have had a physical man cover instead of a guy who gets cooked in coverage. Here's the thing about Phillips I don't like. He's susceptible to the double move. He does have speed to make up. He's not a guy that tracks the ball well. And I think he's going to be a liability in regards to, I don't know, that thing they do in football called tackling. I think he's going to be a tackling liability, but that's just me. It's amazing how people sympathize over a 6-year backup quarterback and make continual excuses for him instead of rooting for the uniform. Well, that sums it up. Jonathan says, you think Newman was a reach nickel? Nick Saban had him in the best safety in the class. Oh, yeah. Okay, let me tell you. If Newman would have came out last year or the year before, he's going like 107. He has limited speed. He is more going to be a 7 or an 8th guy in the box. Don't put him out at free safety. You keep him in a strong safety because you get a running back wide receiver tight end with any type of speed, he's going to get cooked. He's tough. He's strong. He's a big hitter. He just doesn't have the acceleration. If he would have came out 23 or 2022, he's going like 107. He's not, just because someone's the best guy in that draft doesn't mean he's the best guy available. Because we don't take reaches, we go for best player available. Safeties got paid this year. Look at Xavier Kinney, especially the older guys. They didn't stay on the market very long. Why? Because the entire NFL knew, outside of Joe Shane, that this was an extremely weak class at the safety position. I'll just be excited when we finally get rid of DJ. Good evening time. Joey D. I got a feeling Buffalo sent Shane and Dable to get the revenge on us for beating them in the Super Bowl. Maybe it is a curse. Horsecock Lock took us to the promised land. Wait and see. The promised land being the first overall pick. Even if they, of course, we were going to get the first. Oh, this is truly the way the Giants operate. I have no doubt in my mind we are going to get the first overall pick in 2025. The only issue is there is not a consensus number 1 overall pick or quarterback so far in this draft. The lock that the QB has finally been given up by 2 teams in a bad situation. Lock couldn't beat out Teddy Bridgewater, and he lost out to Geno Smith twice. I don't think they're excited to start Lock. They are excited not to start Daniel Jones. Hey, am I the only one about Drew Lock? Because I'm sick of Daniel Jones, and that's sad. I'll be selling Joe Must Go t-shirts. Joey G says, feels like we're stuck in a loop. Crazy man. Feels like we're stuck in a loop. Crazy man. Feels like we're stuck in a loop. Crazy man. Feels like we're stuck in a loop. Crazy man. Okay, we're good. I bet the Panthers owners didn't let Bryce Young have a 3rd season if he has another subpar year. I agree. Yeah, I was going to say something smart, but you just summed it up. Omega says, neighbors will need his Red Bull to grow wings for all the DJ's overthrows. He more likely go under the room. Seeing Drew Lock doing badly isn't as bad as seeing Daniel Jones do the same thing and get paid millions for it. No, we're paying Drew Lock millions as well. I'm going to tell you something. Sitting there with James Williams at that Seattle game, I was not impressed with Drew Lock. I truly was not impressed with Drew Lock whatsoever. So I'm a little concerned that we think that this is the Messiah. If we want to draft Sanders next year, you think Dable will let us draft him because he's our Dion? No, Dion, you're right. He's not coming here. Dion is not letting his kid come to a shit show. Many of the giant podcasters used to bash Dave Gettleman are now making excuses for Shane. I think an honest fan would open to see the pros and cons in both. No, you are not allowed to. I'm going to speak from the heart here. I'm sitting up for this one. You are not allowed to. You have a microphone. You have a computer. You have a camera. You're a giant podcaster. You are only allowed to say nice things. It's a rule. I got the rule book. They sent it to me. Too bad I can't read. It's one of those things that honesty is not one of those strong points. You take a look at my best friend.
Yeah, look at me.
He says things on this broadcast. I remember clearly when he said it.
The Giants are officially broken.
I remember when Carl Banks Sr. said it. Then he gets on the postgame show. Well, maybe I was speaking out of place. Well, maybe that was not the best way to sum that up. No, you set it up. You summed it up. I watched Witherspoon take that ball 103 yards as Daniel Jones was driving to get this back into the game. And I remember sitting there in the coaches club with James Williams, listening to Howard Cross give me all the excuses in the world for Daniel Jones. And the last excuse was he was hit so much that he was gun shy. That's why he threw that pass. Well, that would have been a good plan if he was under duress. No, he just made a rookie throw, and they toasted him the other way. Hey, we got the 2-toast super chat. Of course, all the super chats go to the Philadelphia Children's Hospital. Massive salute and respect to the boss and all the dire Giant fans across the pond. Please slap all the stinky, filthy loser boys out the door. That includes Saquon. No, I like Saquon. Slap all the damn Sixers fans out the door because you can't even buy tickets to your own fucking stadium. Your owner's got to buy 2,000 tickets so it won't be a Knick game again. My birthday's on Friday. The game is on Thursday. I got all these doctor's appointments on Thursday as well. And it's a 9:00 game. That's like a 30-40 minute ride to Philadelphia. And tickets are still like $100-something. I was thinking about going. But then it's like, no, that's too much effort. That's too much effort for watch game 7 on Saturday. What's up, Mr. Fitness? Mr. Fitness, was it you that I was telling you got to take your bat off the shoulder to get a hit? Was it you that I was telling that story to? I don't remember. I don't remember. We were talking about you earlier. What were your ears burning? We got Mr. I got to get back up here. Hold on. But Blackbird Xavier Committee is the top 5 safety. Yeah, 100%. Mike Glenn says we draft a slow, save the bad hips and good ball schools, a fast corner who couldn't catch a cold. You're right. You're right. I love it though because of the fact that I had the I felt bad about it. No, I don't feel bad about it. But when I was doing the autograph signing, and it was Bobby Okereke and Darnay Holmes, and they give you the shirts, and I got the shirt around here. So I got it. Oh wait, is that the shirt? No, that's not the shirt. I don't know where the shirt is. They had a shirt. They gave you a shirt. So I had him sign. I had a Okereke and Darnay Holmes sign it, and I flicked the shirt on the table, and I looked at Big Al, and I said, "That's how you cover." When I was standing in front of Darnay Holmes. Oh, I love when people go, "You would never say things to people in front of their face." Okay, evidently you've never met me. I don't think he'll be. I don't think he will though. But if he doesn't, I won't hate him. Evidently, I missed something. Don't remind me of Ken O'Brien. His connection to Al Toon still haunts me. Al Toon was a good player until all the concussions. Let's see here. Tim, if Daniel has a good year, will you take everything back you said? No. You know what's good year is going to have to be? 4,300 yards, 30 touchdowns. I'll give you 15 interceptions, another 300 yards rushing, another 6 touchdowns. Then I will consider taking it back. And then I will say, you know, when most athletes hit their peak and have one of their best seasons of their career, you know what age that is? 27. And then for certain athletes, there is then a decline after that. How old is Daniel Jones going to be? One good year does not make up for 5. How the hell are we against the cap with the worst roster in the league? I don't know. I really don't know. I look at the cap management. I go, what the fuck? I look at these numbers and I'm like, you know, it reminds you like when you're like first starting out in life and you're paying your bills and, you know, you got your student loans, you got everything else. And, you know, you get your Excel spreadsheet out. And that's what I do. I still do this to this day. Get your Excel spreadsheet. I bang out all your expenses, all your projected expenses. And then you have like, you know, your fun expenses and all that. And then you look at the number and say, okay, this is how much I can spend. This is how much I should spend. This is how much I should save. When you're first starting out in life, you have this spreadsheet, you do all this and you go, that can't be right. Why is that number negative? Because you're spending too much. The problem is the Giants are spending too much, but in the wrong way. You gave $140 million to a carbon copy of a guy you already have on the team. You didn't stagger the Dexter Lawrence or Andrew Thomas contracts. You let McKinney and Barkley walk, and you gave $160 million in Daniel Jones all within a 3-year span. And you didn't recultivate your talent through the draft. And then you have people that want to take the right tackle who was a left tackle and then move him to right guard and open up the right tackle position to a guy that was in with the Raiders who is basically Cam Fleming 2.0. And then think nothing bad is going to happen. Hey, Tim, right now I got Tennessee Titans, Carolina Panthers, Seahawks, and Buffalo Bills will be the worst teams in the NFL in the upcoming season. I think the Titans are going to be better than people expect. I think the Seahawks are going to be better than people expect. And I say things with Carolina Panthers, and the Bills always win. Don't remind me about I already got the Kenny Jay Sports Car says, I think he will, though, but if he does, I won't hate him. I already got that one. Draft day is like Groundhog's Day all over again. Tyler Newman was on a boat. Well, that just means we got to get rid of him. I never heard of Tyler Newman. I had to go look up Tyler Newman, to be honest. I really did. Because I didn't do any work on the safety positions. Because why? It is one of the weakest positions in the draft. So why would I? My Nuggets going all the way again. Why can't the Giants do that as well? Mr. McCormick, the Bears moved on from Fields. Pittsburgh moved on from Pickett. Denver moved on from Wilson's. Why can't we be normal? I don't know. It's a good question. Ms. Roberts says the O-line coaching is Kafka are going to be better. The main excuse. Oh, Kafka is going to be the excuse for Daniel Jones. That's a great point. That's because we have to follow the Giant philosophy. First, you fire a position coach. Then you fire some coordinators. Then you fire the head coach. Then you fire the general manager. We've seen this going back to Jerry Reese. The offensive line class this year sucked. Jones was 2-5-1 down the stretch 2 years ago, and in the playoffs, he could not carry us to the playoffs. What am I constantly hearing from idiots? The G-men will win enough games not to get a number one quarterback, kind of like we did this year. Matthew says 3-11-1 against teams with over 500 record, 22-30 and 22-23, Todd. But let's not talk about that. We drafted a slow and saves bad hips and good ball skills and a fast corner who can't cover to catch a cold. That's okay. We signed an offensive lineman who was literally told, people in Wisconsin told me that John Runyon, if he wanted close to $10 million, they were going to let him go. And he was the weakest link in the line the last 3 years. And don't pull him from his guard position because he'll trip over his feet and end up on the ground. And he has problems with pre-snap penalties. But besides that, and he was already splitting time with his replacement the second half of the season and in the playoff game. But he was an integral part for the Green Bay Packers. I hate how the guys all give credit to Daniel Jones, like Barkley didn't do anything to help him. 1,300 yards. Yeah. Spoke highly of Daniel Jones, and Giants did him dirty. Trenches plus quarterback equals Super Bowl. Simple equation. We address neither. 5-7 wins at best. Question is now, if Dable's out after this year, is Mr. Bill in? No. No, we said this before. Do not want a reunion. Those reunions never work. We've seen coaches go back to their old stomping grounds. We've seen coaches older coaches out of the league for a couple of years go back in the league. It never works. We've talked about it. We went back to the 60s with Hank Stram. You know, Hank we got to find the where you always have to do the Hank Stram comment. Hold on, wait a minute. Hold on. Everyone just wait. There you go.
Just keep matriculating the ball down the field, boys.
He matriculated the ball down the field for the Kansas City Chiefs, took that Super Bowl. I believe it was Super Bowl III, I believe it was. Then comes back to coach the New Orleans Saints. Gets fired. Mike Ditka, the Bears, 85, Super Bowl. Goes and coaches the Saints. After a couple of years, horrible failure. We've seen it before. Bill Parcells, love the tuna. Only success he had getting the Super Bowl was that year with the Pats. Even was an executive with Miami, just didn't work out on any of those stops. Hey Tim, I like the undrafted free agent quarterback Liam Thompson from Wabash. He has some upside. Do you know where Wabash is? Wasbash. I forgot Wabash. Do you know where that is? Hey, everyone. That's a huge jump. This team may be even worse this season. Who's our coach next year? Jim Harbaugh. Tim, for the Giants coach. Yeah, you don't want me to. Yeah. Listen, I got in trouble. I've told the story. I got in trouble coaching PAL League basketball. That's the Police Athletic Association League. I got in trouble. I technically got suspended from coaching PAL League. I coached PAL League basketball for like 3 years, and I won 3 championships. Well, the problem was this. It actually was kind of Belichick-y now that I think about it. Some of my players, because you had drafts and you had all this and you had people come in, some of these players were kind of kids that I found on the playground. So I kind of convinced them to come on the team, had the parents sign everything up, but there was like rules about reference. If someone wanted to be on a team or get in the league, you could come in the midseason, come in the league, and they put you on a team, but they would have like a lottery and they would put you on the team. So I found all these kids and I would just bring them on the team. And then one of the coaches my 3rd year was like, well, let me see your roster. I show him my roster. And he's like, well, 4 of these kids aren't even on your roster. I'm like, yeah, they're on my roster. They're on my other roster, my secret roster. Yeah, I got suspended. Let's see. Peace and love, Tim. What's up, Big Nichols? Loyal fan. I know who you are, Big Nichols. Do you think John, Billy Madison Mara, has his eyes closed on Archie Manning and he will sabotage the season for him? No, because Archie Manning hasn't even won the job yet at Texas. He had one good game in the spring game. People are going nuts. Not you, Big Nichols. I'm just saying in general. Bill Belichick next year, Tim. I'm calling it now. You got something. Yeah, you're usually pretty good. Is there a reason to why they haven't touched the DJ's you know why they haven't touched the DJ's contract? Because of that freaking injury clause. They can't. They're going to. They are going to. They're not going to do it right away. They are going to touch that contract. It'll probably be towards the end of camp. They have to. And it's going to be like Leonard Williams. You're going to kick the money down the road. Then when you get rid of them, there's a big cap number in 2025, 2026. People are like, well, we get rid of Leonard Williams. We got all that cap space. Well, no. You're still on the hook for a certain amount of money when you trade somebody. That's what certain fans seem to forget. You still owe some of that money. As much as you think it goes back to zero, it ain't Madden. You can't go into settings and reset the cap. No. It doesn't work that way. Philosophy Stoner says, what's up? Hey, happy Shane didn't draft a quarterback so he can get fired faster. If he drafts a quarterback, he would have. I love that someone was talking to me today on Twitter. And they're like, well, I love how everyone thinks that they could do better as a general manager than Joe Shane. I'm not saying I could do better than Joe Shane. I'm not saying that. I will say the last 2 years, my video assessments of his draft class have been spot on. I always tell people the last 4 years, I didn't do a regrading of the draft after the season because my videos were pretty accurate. I always tell people, go watch them. You can hate me for it, but I would say there's about 95% accuracy in all those videos. Like when I still remember the Dave Gilligan video about snatching victory from the jaws of snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. Or snatching the jaws of defeat from victory. Yeah, that's what it was. Because I love the McKinney pick and I love the Andrew Thomas pick, and I said everything else was caca. You don't know what you're talking about. Okay. Okie dokie. What's for dinner? We had actually I went to the steak farm. So we had filet mignon with applesauce and mini baked potatoes. It's actually very good. And we had burgers. Well, we didn't have burgers, but they'll be for tomorrow. What's up, Joseph? Now I get why Joe Judge called for back-to-back kneels. He knew O'Mara would force DJ. Hey, Tim, since they got some Tennessee people on the staff, if they fired Dable, do you think they bring in Mike Vrabel? I'm not a big Vrabel fan. It has nothing to do with the Malik Willis thing. There was just a lot of stuff in Tennessee. Because like I said, I followed the Tennessee Titans a little bit last year because of Malik Willis. There was a lot of stuff going on in Tennessee that there's a reason why he didn't get a job this year. There's a reason and a rationale. Giants don't draft black quarterbacks. Just saying. You're not wrong. Track record proves you're not wrong. How long before Neighbors is on the sidelines flipping a tablet at Jones? Preseason? Hell no. Not impressed by Drew Lock. The Giants choose not to tackle against Seattle. Bobby O whiffed on the tackle. Thank you. Oh my God. Thank you, Blackbird. Thank you. Someone else saw this. I thought James and I were the only ones that saw that. He missed. He missed big time. Tim, Neighbors will have 500 years and 2 touchdown passes from DJ of 500 years. Like he's going to be that long, DJ. Hey, Tim, love that soundbite. Do you do nothing, you get nothing. Good day, sir. You do nothing, you get nothing. Good day. So what soundbite was that? I remember that soundbite. It's probably in there somewhere. C. Sanders says, just say it, Tim. We suck, and we will until the Black Cat curse goes away, and we will continue to suck. I don't know what we did. I'm not sure what the curse is. The guy that owned the boat sold it. The OBJ boat. I think it sank too. So this isn't the curse of the Billy Goat. I don't know what we did. How did we piss off the NFL gods? What did we do? I'm still trying to figure this one out. I think we drafted Daniel Jones, and that's what we did. That's what we did. What's up, Giants family? Jay Card says Eli Manning was gunshot in his gunshot. Yeah, he was gunshot his last 2-3 years. Well, Eli Manning was also like 30-something years old. I mean that's that's something else. I mean, he was already certain years old. So I mean. So I can understand that. When you get older, things hurt. That's what people are like. Well, I'll tell people when you get older and you bang your elbow, you do something that fucking hurts. Then when you're in your 20s, you just shake it off. Now, when you hit your 30s, you're like, motherfucker. I have to go to the hospital. I can't feel my arm. Look, I can't even bend it. Mr. Fitness says Knicks stole one. Sixers stole one. Knicks will win. You know what's funny? I started rewatching the Tyrese Maxey shot at that 3-pointer, the bounce off 3-pointer and the foul with Mitchie the Kid. He traveled. He literally took 4 steps. And I didn't notice until someone pointed out to me on Twitter. He literally took 4 steps before he threw himself forward, and there was no foul. I was so hyped up in the moment that I didn't even notice this. One hell of a shot, don't get me wrong, but you took 4 steps. as soon as you stop, you can't, you have your pivot foot. You can lift up the other foot, but you can't lift up your pivot foot. Is James okay? Well, I don't know. We're going to bring James on, I think. I think James wants to talk. Jersey Billionaire says, "Sup, Tim? Are we cursed with Daniel Jones?" I think we are cursed. I think we're cursed. The road to nowhere is coming. The Jones delusion is hilarious. It is hilarious. You're right. One good year in 7 isn't good. Happy 30th birthday, Tim. I'm actually 28. I'm actually 28. I'm like, well, my birthday's on Friday, but thank you, because I'm probably not going to be around on Friday. I laugh because someone even said to me on Twitter or somewhere, I forgot where it was, and they're like, well, you look good for 37. It was like, well, I said, first of all, you're a liar. Second of all, I said, I have underwear older than that. And I said, third of all, I said, I said, I appreciate it. I said, I greatly appreciate your lying to me. It makes me feel so much better. What percentage of guys do you think might actually wear the Guardians cap? There will be a percentage of guys. There will be. I mean, it looks goofy. And I've said it before. I have had, going back to Pop Warner, probably at least 11 known concussions. And that's almost 9 years of playing football. Well, probably 11, at least known. And I'm not suffering from any ill effects. 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 Happy birthday to me. TJ Tampa is a slower version of Jalen Ramsey. He's physical but lacks the elite speed to help keep up with the elite receivers. That's okay. You got a guy that can run, that can't tackle or cover or intercept the ball. And probably should play in the slot. Then what do you do with Cordell Flott and Darnay Holmes? We have a lot of slot guys.
That's what she said.
They spent steak money on hot dogs. Not if you go to the farm I go to. We have the answer at quarterback. Jersey Shore cutlets, Tommy. The only thing that I'm going to miss about Tommy DeVito, and we've said it before, we're going to say it again. Jersey Shore Tommy.
Wait for the beat to drop.
That's the only thing I'm going to miss about him. Oh, and don't forget, if they keep Jones after in 3 years, a cap hit on year 4 is $36 million, so that even that is more tight with a weak roster. Oh my God. Do you call him neighbors or what's his name? Neighbor. I don't know. I forget. Now you got me confused. The only two quarterbacks I've ever seen for us is Eli Manning. Jones. Was Phil Simms a good quarterback? Phil Simms, you have to remember, when he retired after that last season, he tore something in his shoulder. He took Giants to the took Giants to the playoffs under Dan Reeves. He went to a Pro Bowl that year. And the Giants knew he was washed up, so they cut him. And when he retired, Phil Simms, he was in the top 20 of every single NFL all-time passing record category. Over 33,000 yards, 199 touchdowns. He could have padded his stats by going to Cleveland, but he didn't. He won that one Super Bowl. He was leading the team when he got hurt, but in that 90 season against Buffalo, won another season. So technically, he's got 2 Super Bowl rings. Yeah, Phil Simms was good. What's up, brother T-Dog? What's up, Dr. Garrett? Eli and Phil, the best 2 Giant quarterbacks ever. No. Chuck and Charlie Conley won championships, 2-time NFL MVP. Y.A. Tittle never won a championship, made it to the championship game, and also 2 NFL MVPs for the Giants. So I would probably go Charlie Conley, Eli Manning, Phil Simms, Y.A. Tittle, Fran Tarkenton. if I had to pick my guys. Hey, Tim, what's your thoughts on the Minnesota Timberwolves? Because I think Timberwolves will upset the Nuggets and win the NBA Finals. I don't know. I really don't know. I like the Timberwolves. I think they got themselves a good team, and they got themselves a young team. They got themselves a strong team. So you never know. The NBA is just a weird thing. I just want to beat the Sixers. I don't care if we lose in round 2. I just want to beat the Sixers. That's all I want out of life. That's what I want for my birthday. I told James, I said, thank God I didn't go to the Knick game. Because you have OG Anunoby, you have Josh Hart, and no one can cover Tyrese Maxey. If I was at the game, I would have thrown a chair at Tyrese Maxey. He would have probably been out for a couple days, and people have been like, and in the Knick game, because in New York, you get arrested, but you get released right away. So they'll be like, oh, and the fan got arrested, and he's out 2 hours later with the no bail system. How long did Lombardi last in D.C.? Was it 2 years before he passed away with cancer? He had the team in the right direction, but he was still losing. Can the Raiders be the worst than Neal? Can the Raiders tackle be worse than Neal? I just don't think Neal is a tackle. He's low lights on YouTube are comical. Giant Clown, I'm going to say this before, but I'm not a huge Evan Neal apologist or defender. But I will say this before. He had a better season than Justin Pugh. And Justin Pugh, because
Justin Pugh off the couch.
That's his claim to fame, not the fact that he gave up the most sacks on the Giants and the most penalties and everything else. Out of the 400 and something plays, I think he only had like 2 penalties and like 4 sacks, Evan Neal. And Evan Neal was right when he said, listen, I could have 45 plays in a game. I could be awesome for 43 of them. 2 of them could suck. But all anyone wants to talk about is those 2 plays. It's going to be consistency with Evan Neal and staying on the field. And people talked about how they wanted to get rid of the offensive line coach, and this guy from the Raiders is so great. Okay, well, good. Coach these guys up. I think Evan Neal's biggest issue is the fact that he needs to be coached up. You can say Bobby Johnson was a good coach. You can say he was a bad coach. But I think a lot of Evan Neal's issues is the fact that he's always going to have problems with speed rushers. The biggest problem that nobody wants to talk about with Evan Neal is Daniel Bellinger. People are like, you limitedly use Daniel Bellinger out. You didn't use him that much because you got to keep him in the block. Okay, and you kept Bellinger to block on Neal's side, right? And on Justin Pugh's side, right? So you're basically adding a second blocker. And don't worry, he bulked up. Belly gained like 20 pounds of muscle. But it didn't help with his blocking skills. Now, did it? Said this before. Strength is a wonderful thing. Strength without leverage does not work. Speed is a wonderful thing in football. Too bad the game is not played in a straight line. Think about these things. Ow. Now I got to go to the hospital. If Runyon is an upgrade, that tells you how bad we have been at guard. You're right. Bailey Zappi looking better than Daniel Jones last year. The defense scares me more touchdowns than the offense in the first half. The game during the beginning of the season. Where are we going to get those interceptions from? That's my big question. Graham G says, who will have a top 3 pick next year, but will win late pointless games and draft 6 again. Oh my God. Ohio. What's up, Tim? Just leaving work. No, it's Ohio. Frank M1. Jesus. Hey, Tim. God bless. Which group of players will be the best this year? Giants, offense, or defense? I honestly cannot predict which side of the ball will play well. If I had to pick, I'm going to have to go defense. Only because of the fact that I think the offense, if you have Daniel Jones as your quarterback, is going to be a hindrance right off the bat. But it's kind of a loaded gun question because of the fact that your secondary could be extremely porous. I think you're going to have some issues with Kayvon Thibodeau and Brian Burns over pursuing and teams taking advantage of that. And also taking advantage of the fact that Bobby Okereke cannot be all over the place. And I think what's going to happen is when they over pursue Burns and Thibodeau, they are not going to be pushing the plays back into the middle of the field into Okereke and what is supposed to be your strength in Dexter Lawrence. And I think that's going to get ugly, and I think it's going to get ugly quick. I think they'll have games where they'll each have a sack or two. I think they'll have games that they'll look destructive. I really do. but I also think they'll have games where they disappear for extended periods of time. And that's how, motherfucker. That's not a way to play ball. Tim did a blue chip coach Pete Bell. Yes, I did actually. That was Nick Nolte. When Shaq was in the movie, Penny Hardaway was in the movie. I kind of did. No, but I didn't buy anybody a house and I didn't leave any bags of money anywhere. But yes, there was always these kids playing out in the playground outside of the gym where we played in. And this one kid was really good. I mean, like really good. So I asked him, I said, why are you not playing in the league? He goes, well, my mom and this, and and I'm like, but you're here every day. You should be in the league. Yeah, but then there's the fee and this. I said, I'll pay the fee. Just come on. I'm this benevolent guy. I'm like Mr. John Mara. Come on. I was going to say something. I'm not like Mr. John Mayer because the kid was black. But I was like, come on in. Play on my team. Yeah, you get in trouble for shit like that. Evidently, that's a recruiting violation. But I know talent. I get the eye for talent. James, are you in the chat? Tim, I'm coming for dinner. Steaks are my thing. Oh, I love steak. Let's see here. Could our defense be a top 5? No. Mike Glenn says the Giants drafted a weapon at 6. The rest were replacements for the talented players we lost and are going to lose soon. You are replacing these guys with other guys. Yes, 100%. But people are like Tyler Newman. He's going to replace Xavier McKinney. Xavier McKinney is on the cusp of being an all-pro. He had something like 130 tackles. He played every snap. He was a guy that was in the box. He was a guy that was that could cover. And you're going to ask this kid to come in and take his position. T-Brad, can you jump on? Knock, knock. Who's there? Stupid question. You who? Yeah, here's the link. I always wonder why people like me. I don't know why. I don't get it. It's a Gene Wilder quote. Oh, okay. What was a Gene Wilder quote? What did I miss? You get nothing. Oh, that one. That was from Willy Wonka.
Get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Oh, that's button number 39, for those that wanted to know. Maybe Joe Shane thought Drew Lock was really Andrew. Well, that would be Luck and Lock. No, Tim, James aren't the only ones Bobby O missed badly. Oh, thank God. Because I thought that was the worst thing in the world. We saw this at the game and we're all sitting there like, he missed. He missed. People are like, oh, he's just playing so well. I'm like, no, he's not. Push Coughlin out for the Macadouche. Yep, you're right. We broke Eli's streak. Oh, that could be the curse. Joe Rev, what I think we should do is hit the like button because that's always what you're supposed to do. What I think we should do, though, is we should bring Eli back. Let him start like 255 games. He'll be in his 50s. He'll be fine. What could go wrong? And maybe that'll break the curse. Neighbors was the right pick at 6. McCarthy wasn't making this team better, and it isn't the answer. Quarterback Penix really was never an option. Penix should have been an option. Penix should have, could have, would have been an option. I'm texting James here. We paid Daniel Jones. Zach Attack. What's up? We did pay Daniel Jones. We should have kept Coughlin. Yeah, we should have. We sold our souls to beat Tom Brady twice in the Super Bowl. That could be our problem as well. Tim, would you have taken a flyer on Rattler at 5 at the 5th? No, I would not. Setting your souls for rings was still worth it. Eternal bragging rights. Oh my goodness. Collins, Maris convinced Drew Lock will be his carry. Collins till he gets another Eli Manning. Y'all don't want to hear this, but Shane, and Dable moves seem like a long-term. No, here's the problem. I'm going to explain something to you here real quick. And it's not that we don't want to hear this. I'm going to explain this to you real quick. And Gelman did the same thing. They like to draft what they like to refer to as projected talent. And we've talked about this before. They do not like to draft what we like to refer to as immediate talent. Immediate talent may not be the best long-term solution because of the fact that they may not have a higher ceiling, but they could start immediately. The problem is you draft like Matt from Connecticut, who we wait for 4 years and then he goes and leaves after he never becomes anything. What's up, Big T?
Not much, man. Not much. Frustrated with the draft process.
With the draft process or with just the draft? Because I thought I was a little frustrated about the draft too because I thought they went too long between picks.
Well, the thing is, to be honest, I was working that draft. I was out to dinner, and I was trying to jump back. I had new phone problems, whole bunch of stuff. Everything went how I said it would go.
You did?
Privately. I talked about May, but I knew May would be the only chance we would take at quarterback. And that's just because we have a type when it comes to quarterback. So
tall, statuesque, big arm, likes to hang out in the pocket.
And can make all the Sunday throws and looks good on a Wheaties box.
Looks good on a Wheaties box. Patrick Mahomes is good on a Wheaties box.
But I'll say this. Yeah, that's Patrick Mahomes. But I'll say this because it has to make sense to me, and this is what doesn't make sense. You were willing to trade up, lose more assets on a team that already sucks, okay? And we still suck. Okay, you were willing to trade up, lose all these assets because you felt as though we needed a quarterback and Drake May was a quarterback you love. Not the quarterback who was a two-time Heisman finalist, one-time final in Heisman MVP. Not the quarterback who threw for over 4,000 yards twice, the next amount of touchdowns 2 years in a row. Only other person to do that.
Lost your audio, man. Did you accidentally hit mute? Nope, still can't hear you. Is it your new phone? No,
Hello.
Now, oh wow, now we got good audio.
I have no idea where you went. I have no idea. I gotta leave and come back. Damn it, I hate when people call me.
All right. Damn, I hate when people call T-Brad too. Damn it, don't call T-Brad. NBA admitted that was a missed call. Oh well, we got to take one of two. They did admit that was a missed call. Was that a missed call for the Maxi travel or the non-foul on Mitchell Robinson or T-Brad's missed call? Ain't a typo, Tim. I meant 500 yards for Neighbors. I thought it was a typo. I was hoping it was a typo. Judging the 2025 class in May is silly. No one thought Daniels and McCarthy were a top 10 pick this year. Actually, that's not true. Nobody thought McCarthy was. Everyone thought that Daniels had consideration to win the Heisman. You tell people you're busy.
I'm back.
You tell people you're busy.
Yeah, but when they call on my phone, it pushes me out. It like messes it up. So I couldn't hear you. You couldn't hear me. I don't know if you can hear me.
I can hear you.
The thing is, the quarterback who was right there for us, we didn't have to trade up any assets. So it means you knew that quarterback is an issue that you needed to deal with. If you're willing to trade up, that means quarterback is a position of not want, a position of need. They didn't trade up for cornerback because they could have got one out of Toledo later. They couldn't trade up for safety. They traded up for a quarterback.
You know, it sucks that both the safety and technically the safety / corner and the other corner both went to Philadelphia.
Oh yeah, the best two corners went to Philly.
Yeah.
That one, two.
And Cooper can play safety.
Yeah. So I just don't understand how we get better retreading with worse situations. Like, don't get me wrong, Neighbors is the best wide receiver we've probably had since Odell Beckham.
Oh, 100%.
Dynamic. Yeah, dynamic can get
1,000%.
Dynamic can get things done. But the last time I heard, quarterback's the most prestigious position. It's the most coveted position, but not to us because we've got Daniel Jones. We've got to realize that. I sat there and watched Washington get not one but two quarterbacks. The Jets, who have Aaron Rodgers, said, "Hey, we'll take a flyer on Travis Rudolph or whatever my man's name is from Florida
Kid,
State."
yeah, kid with the knee
Um,
injury. Lester, I see you there, brother. I'm going to get to you in a minute.
New Orleans is you talking me?
No, we got someone else waiting in the.
Oh
in
yeah,
I want you to pontificate your thoughts first.
Okay, yeah. Then you got New Orleans, and New Orleans, they said, you know what? We'll take a chance on Spencer Rattler. To me, we're drafting to play catch up, and we're not drafting to build for the future. We're drafting like 2025 is the only year there's ever going to be. So let's put all our chips in here. That's just stupid drafting to me. If you weren't going to get McKinney, if you weren't going to get a replacement for Saquon Barkley in the first 3 rounds, why would you wait for the 5th round to grab a daggone running back? Grab one of the quarterbacks.
Who played 3 years at wide receiver before he switched to running back.
Yes. But he was a running back in high school, so he can make all the Sunday runs.
I was a center in high school. Not a center in football, a center on the basketball team, starting center. That doesn't mean I should be a starting center in the NBA.
It does. Of course it does. If you use Giants draft logic, this is gonna be a shit show season. I'll probably get a neighbor's jersey, but this is gonna be a shit show season.
Lester's gonna come in here and school us both and tell us we're both wrong.
Yeah, you guys are both wrong.
I'm gonna see.
What's going on, gentlemen?
What are you
brother?
doing? What's going on, man? I haven't seen you like for a year now, over a year.
At the draft party last year.
Yeah, that was a year ago, man.
Yes, it's been a year. How's it going, T. Brad?
It's good, brother. How you?
Man, I'm doing well, brother. Listen, man, I hear the frustration in your voice, man.
Lots of it.
Talk him down, man. Talk him down, Lester. You are the voice of reason.
Yeah, not today. I'm not. Goddamn it.
That's what I'm talking about. I want you mad and angry with me. Let's go.
So I text Tim like the day before the draft. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. But I said, yeah, Jaden Daniels is gonna fall to us. Tim, like, yeah, I hope so.
I was gonna say, I have the text messages right here.
You believe that?
So T. Brad, I'm actually believing this too, T. Brad. Right? I got my hopes up, and then all right, 1, 2, 3 goes. All right, and Joe Alt. I'm like, yes, grab Penix. That's who I want. My second pick was Penix, because like Tim says all the time, you know, Penix is probably the most NFL ready outside of Caleb Williams. And we took Neighbors, which, you know, at the end of the day, it's a great pick. But we need a quarterback. And I think the problem is this. I think that Mara sanctioned them paying DJ. And you know, sometimes you have people that just can't admit when they're wrong.
Mara.
Right. And it's like, hey, listen, you know, we're gonna say all the right things politically, right? But we're gonna double down on the bad decision. At this point, I'm not even sure if I want to watch Giants football this year, because this shit is ridiculous. I gotta sit back and watch the Vikings sit there, get McCarthy. They didn't have to move. And then Atlanta does the smart thing. They double down on the QB. Sort of like smart. You know, when they drafted Rodgers and then they drafted Love.
Yep.
So I don't understand what we're doing over there. Maybe we're in the Arch Manning sweepstakes. But at this point,
we're always in that sweepstakes.
But at this point, gentlemen, I don't know what to say. I just know that Belichick's probably licking his chops, and don't get me wrong, I don't want Belichick coming here.
I was going to keep his last the entire time.
Right? Yeah, he's text. But
I'm not going to show him the second one after that. That on draft day that you sent me.
Right. Dave's is on the hot seat. I think this is it this year when we go 5-12 or 4-13, whatever the hell it's gonna be.
Sounds about right.
And that's what it's just gonna be, man. Davis is gonna have hips on the sideline. You know, when DJ the ball, and to add insult to injury, DJ might get hurt, and we're gonna owe him another 23 or 25 guaranteed.
Might.
What I gotta say, fellas?
I was gonna say might.
Yeah, you have a lot. But here's another thing, Tim. We don't want to invest in Penix. He's too old. He's got an injury history. We just put $160 million into an injury history. Or am I wrong?
And we don't want to reach. We don't want to reach at 6 for a quarterback, but we will reach at 40 something for a safety. Reach at 70 for a corner, and reach for a position at tight end, because those are all positions of need. I don't think you could sit there and honestly tell me, as Giant fans, and especially astute Giant fans, that we took the best player available in the second, third, and fourth rounds. That we didn't draft a position.
I hated the third round pick the most.
Me too.
I'll say that. The third round pick, the corner that they picked up in the third round, I didn't think was the best corner on the board. And I honestly, this was my thing. Once we weren't getting a quarterback in the first round, I knew we weren't getting a quarterback, period. I knew that going forward. Tim, I did text you and James a few times and said, we're not getting a quarterback.
You did.
Get ready for it.
You did.
We're not getting one. And I knew that's how it was going to happen. But once we didn't have quarterback off the board and we took Neighbors, which probably, if it wasn't a quarterback, Neighbors was my pick. I was like, oh, let's go Neighbors. So we picked Neighbors. I said, okay, if you're going to invest in this piece of shit, who is Daniel Jones? And I'm talking about as a quarterback, he's a piece of shit. If you're going to invest in that, what you do is you put weapons around quickly, not just Neighbors. Go out. I'm a big fan of Ben Sinnott, the tight end that they got from in Washington. I'm a huge fan of that guy. I think he's the next Kittle. I think he's that good. But go out and get a running back early. Go out and get a tight end to make the slow processing Daniel Jones be able to see open people faster. If you're going to go that way, let him go out with all the weapons you can get.
Right.
Because I know he sucks. And then when you can finally see that he sucks, we get somebody in there who's halfway decent. And maybe we'll win half our games.
Or T-Brad, double down on another wide receiver.
If you want to be that game,
you know what? You are in a wide receiver laden draft. We saw the wide receiver run at the beginning. The end of the first round and into the second round itself. Why not?
Yeah.
To Lester's point, if you are going to go all in on Daniel Jones, why not give? You're right. Why wouldn't every position at wide receivers, tight end, and running back be perceived a weapon?
Tim, the funny thing is, so New England, Drake May, Jacoby Brissett, and then they pick up Joe Milton. Why couldn't we just pick up a developmental quarterback, a true developmental quarterback, not Jersey Shore Tommy? So we basically have 2 second stringers and a third stringer at QB. That's our QB room.
Well, our last 2 drafted developmental quarterbacks were Kyle Lauletta and Davis Webb.
Wow.
That's drafted. I should rephrase it. Those are our 2 last drafted quarterbacks.
Oh, Daniel Jones and who?
No, Davis
and
Webb and Kyle Lauletta. Oh, the Richmond Spider.
Well, I've been clamoring that I've been beating that drum for a while. How have we not drafted any quarterback? Since we drafted Daniel Jones?
Kyle Lauletta.
There's no competition in the QB room. So you're just gonna hand this guy a job. There's no competition. They finally wanted some competition for Evan Neal at right tackle. But there's no competition in the QB room. None whatsoever. So it's like, okay, I made a wrong turn, so I'm going to continue to make a wrong turn because my wife kept telling me, well, sweetheart, maybe you should use the GPS. Oh, no, I know where I'm going. Another wrong turn. Another wrong turn. Another wrong turn. Come on.
Well, and honestly, that GPS never fucking works. It never knows where it's going. I always know better.
Every time I use my GPS, I arrive at my destination.
Why? Next thing you're going to tell me it's like a satellite in the sky and it can read traffic and everything better than me.
I don't need to know how it works. I just needed to get me there. I don't need to know how it works.
Now, I wasn't a real big fan of drafting JJ simply because I think a lot of times when you draft these quarterbacks, the situation they go into makes a huge difference. I think JJ is going to pan out well in Minnesota because
I think
Minnesota
is a good area in Minnesota.
Minnesota has all the pieces. They bought in a running back. They have receivers out there. The defense is starting to trend with what's this guy in Miami, the defensive coordinator they picked up.
Don't give me the line.
Yeah, I can't remember. I mean, he interviewed for the coaching, the head coaching
Yeah.
job with the Giants as well too. But the point is that JJ's in a good situation to succeed, and I think a guy like Penix who can let the ball go, who can read defenses, and he's mobile enough, to navigate within the pocket. Why not pick the kid up? But hey, apparently Mara has a type.
Listen, Penix in Atlanta, I think is a great pick. I think that I know some people because you gave Cousins the money, but Cousins, first of all, has got to be healthy. Second of all, if he's not healthy, you got a guy that can step in right away. And with T-Brad, was it you that sent me the phone? Someone sent me the phone.
Yeah, I
call
sent
from
you the
Atlanta.
call because I was like, man, I wish we had that call with Joe Shane.
I wish we had the call from the ownership and from the Atlanta coaching staff to Penix was great. I think McCarthy's in a good spot. Damn, I think Bo Nix. We've been saying Bo Nix to Denver forever, but Bo Nix and Sean Payton. If Sean Payton's going to make anyone a quarterback, I don't know if it's going to be Bo Nix, but Bo Nix now has an opportunity to be a quarterback.
Right. And Tim, what does Denver do? Denver get it. They double down and they draft a receiver.
Yeah, his receiver. His security blanket, right then and there.
Right. So you're telling me you couldn't draft Penix at 6, didn't get Polk in the second round. Polk went in the second round.
Yeah.
And it would probably be really dope to have two people who played in college together to play in the pros together to learn together. That would be so dope. And the beautiful thing, had we grabbed Penix, guess what? He doesn't even have to start this year. He can sit on down, relax.
He can sit. Now Atlanta, if Kyle Pitts ever figures it out, if the offensive line ever figures it out, their defense is good enough for them to stay and win games. I mean, they could be, that surprise team in the South.
Yeah, the South's a weak division.
And I was going to say, because it is a very weak division right now, and like I said, they picked up they're in the mentality of winning.
Right.
And that's when they made that trade and they got that pick. It's like they're literally trying to win. Not I'm saying the Giants aren't trying to win, but I keep saying it over and over again. You're never going to get a hit unless you swing the bat. And the Giants haven't swung the bat now it'll be going on 6 years.
Tim, you said it the other day, Tim. We can no longer pencil in those 2 wins out of Washington.
No.
Nope.
Because
no more.
Here's the thing. Once Daniels develops, and I believe he will, he could quite possibly be the best QB in the NFC East.
He could. I'm not saying this year. I don't think he will be this year. No. I think Hurts is going to. I think it's still going to be Hurts. I think it's going to be Hurts, Dak, and then I think it's going to be Daniels, and then blank.
After the following message.
I don't think.
I don't get it.
After the draft, we're worse in the division than we started before the draft.
Well, if you look at what Washington did with their free agency and the cap space they had, they didn't get all the big names, but they got people on this roster that are true NFL professionals. Some are at the beginning of their career, some are maybe towards the tail end of their career, but they are rebuilding and retooling a roster for a rookie quarterback who has a wide receiver, you still have some guys on defense. And you have a coach that's doing it right, and you have a general manager who I think knocked out not only the draft but his free agency as well. And they're still in a good position cap wise.
Yeah, they got a ton of cap space. Tim, you know what blew my mind when we gave Burns on it. As soon as we got the NFL raised the cap, right?
Yep.
As soon as we got the money,
we spent the money.
That's it.
It's like one of my kids with like $10 in their pocket. They're like, I gotta spend it. I gotta get rid of it. But they're only like 8. So I mean, it's not like
I can't blame them. I did the same thing, but we penny candy, so $2 went a long way.
But you were a kid. You weren't running $1 billion NFL team.
Hey, the Giants are determined to win with Daniel Jones. They're determined to let the whole world know that they were right in 2019, and they've been wrong. And when did we as a Giants fan base become the Detroit, Pistons, the Detroit Lions? When did we got so stoked because we won oh my God, we won a game on the road in the playoffs. We won 1 game. That has been his calling card to success. And like Tim likes to point out, we finished the second half of that year on a very losing record.
2-5-1.
Man,
we
listen,
don't talk
the
about
Eagles, the Eagles beat the dog crap out of us down there.
The very next game. But
Right.
no one remembers that. They
I do.
only remember that good game. And it was a good game by Daniel Jones.
Very good.
But
Excellent.
one good game does not a career make.
And also it was probably worse against one of the worst defenses I have ever seen in the NFL playoffs in 30 years.
Right.
I mean, and as also at that year, Minnesota was a team that how many games did they win by 2 or less points or two?
It was quite a few.
And and you don't win.
The luckiest 13 and 14 I ever saw.
And they didn't win the next year because they didn't win any of those close games.
Right.
Another question, Tim. Are there any teams we could call that in and say, yeah, that's a win? No.
Call
We
it
just
truly say, yeah, that is
book it. We'll beat them. Like the schedule's not out now. If we go down to NFC East, right? If we go down to NFC East, there's nobody in the NFC East I think we can beat.
I can't see. Well, I can't see Cleveland. I can't see Baltimore. I can't see Tampa.
Oh, we get crushed in that division.
You have the Vikings at home and Seattle on the road. And right now they're saying that the 2024 schedule, which I never understand this because you can't say, they're saying that we have the 6th hardest schedule in the league. I understand they're going by strength of schedule and teams of last year, but that changes. So I'm not going by the fact that we have the 6th hardest schedule in the league right now. But I can't even say Seattle. I can't say
they beat
Seattle.
the shit out of us last year.
Yeah,
it didn't get worse.
And I can't say, well, Minnesota with McCarthy.
And they have King of the almost sack. Don't forget that.
Yeah, well, and plus we're on the road in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
I would say the only thing that I can't pencil it in, but I would say, I would say the Vikings.
You're not confident on that.
No,
but
because I'm not going to say the Colts.
What about Denver? Maybe Denver. Bo Nix, Denver. Maybe.
No, it's funny. I'm not even confident, and I'm not even confident. I don't. Do we play Denver?
Tim, this is like
I don't see Denver on the schedule.
I don't know who's on our schedule.
We have the Cowboys. Let's see. We have Atlanta. We have Carolina. We have
maybe.
Cleveland Browns.
No.
We have the Pittsburgh Steelers.
No.
We have the Saints, the Buccaneers, the Baltimore Ravens, the Bengals, and the Indianapolis Colts.
I'll call it like spades. Like a bad spades hand. I'll call one an impossible.
I see 4 games, man.
One in the possible. I call Carolina and one possible.
I see 4 games. David losing his cool again, losing his job. They'll keep Shane around another year, and we'll be looking for another head coach.
We got to get Shane out of there. We got to get Shane out of there. I'm bigger on Shane than I am Dable. Dable made chicken salad out of chicken shit that first year they got there. That was Dable. That was no great draft because those same people are here again. We drafted after we made the playoffs. We got worse. This is another year after the playoffs. I don't think we're going to get any better. You got to get rid of the whole. I mean, unless the owner's going to fire themselves.
I keep seeing in the chat, and I've been seeing it all day today. It's either going to be Beck or Sanders for the Giants next year. Quarterback.
What about Dart? Jackson Dart.
Well, I'm just asking about those two because that seems to be on everyone's mind. But I still think, first of all, I'm not sold on Sanders. Second of all, I think Dion's already come out and said there's a list of teams he doesn't want his son to go to.
He sure did.
First of all,
I think we're first and second on that list.
Yeah, first of all, Prime is not going to let his son go to a shit show. And that's what we are right now. We're a shit show. And he will do what Eli Manning's dad did. He'll do that and get in there and make his ways, as all parents should. And you're going to get people like, oh, Dion, he's trying to take away from it. Nah. I'm a dad. This is a kid, and I'm trying to guide his future. And I get tired when they paint that narrative that certain people need to shut the F up.
He's followed him his dad's last 2 stops in school.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't have to worry about Sanders because he's not our type. So let's
I
focus
was
in
I
on
was just about to say
You
that,
mean
T-Brad. I said, let's keep it 100.
You mean
let's
a
focus
thinner,
in on
a thinner, more athletic, running type quarterback? They mean something. You mean that?
No.
No, I mean the optics aren't, and I'm not gonna say they're racist. I'm just saying there's certain optics that they like, and Shador Sanders doesn't fit that, and I don't think Dion will have his son come there. So let's talk about guys we possibly can get. Because I did say Drake May would be the guy we would go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs,
You did.
and that was long before the draft
You
the
did. You
combine
were a
started.
big Drake May fan. You going back? I don't know how many streams.
Yeah, and I said we're gonna fall in love with Drake May. And don't get me wrong, I like Drake May. If we would have got him, I would have been stoked. Don't get me wrong, but I knew he would be the only person that they're not going to replace their biggest mistake with the blackest quarterback. That's what that's the easiest way for me to say it. They're not going to replace that with that and say we were this wrong. They're just not going to do it.
So I have a question, Tim. I have a question for you, T-Brad.
Go ahead.
So
brother.
every year there seems to be like a QB that really wasn't on the radar, so to speak, that comes out of nowhere, and then he starts rising up the draft boards. Who would you guys perceive that to be for next year's draft?
I'll put it in early, and I'll say the guy who just transferred to Miami. If he could put a good year together in Miami, talk about Ward. If he could put a good year in Miami together, because he was one of those people who were kind of like Jaden Daniels, like let's wait and see what he does. But obviously he didn't do what Jaden Daniels did. So if he comes in and has a really good year, he'll jump back up again. But to call who's going to be that draft riser is very difficult. Like I knew JJ McCarthy was going to be a draft riser, but not until after the national championship game when he won. And all of a sudden, after the national championship game, he's better than Michael Penix without another game being played. Even though if you just close your eyes and put the stats of both people together, you say, I want this quarterback.
You know, I'm going to go with Riley Leonard out of Duke.
Out of Duke QB, Tim. No.
I know why.
That's
why.
I went Riley Leonard out of Duke.
Does North Carolina have any more?
You know what you know who he's more giant-esque. He's 6'5", 240 pounds. It's what's his name? It's the kid out of Penn State. Drew, I can't think of his name.
I know Ayers or R's or something. I know you're talking about.
Aller, big kid, slow as
something like that. Yeah.
Slow as molasses. You could time him with a sundial, but he's a true pocket passer. He's a big arm. He hangs in there. He's got a tough presence. He's kind of, it's funny if you want to pick the right type, he's Eli Manning-esque.
Oh, he's definitely a Giants type. Yeah.
If you want to
pick
that type. I mean, he did throw for, I think, only like 2,300 yards, only 30 touchdowns, but only completed 60% of his passes. But I think he's going to grow as Penn State grows, and I think he's going to be that. I think he'll be that type of guy. I would not be shocked if he started off the season well, that you see him, maybe talk into consideration as a second or a third rounder.
I think the guy from Penn State that you mentioned, if he has a really good season, I see him as being that guy that sneaks up into the top 5. Just because he has all those measurables. You know what I mean? He has all the measurables off of anything. The size, the weight, you know what I mean?
I will tell you though, he has we have a lot of Penn State alum in our house. Well, not in our house, but in our family. So we watch, we got a lot of Penn State chatter, and we got a lot of Penn State alums that live around us. And I know
I like the tight end.
They're very high on him, but like I said, I would not be shocked if Penn State put a season together that you see his name into more and more consideration. What about the kid out of Texas?
Nah, I don't think he's got it.
Okay.
I think he played with I think he played in a really, really great offense, When you think about it, they got one quarterback that went, one wide receiver that went first round, another one. I don't know where Adonis Mitchell went. He went either first or early second, and then the running back was the first running back off the board. So they have a decent offense over there in Texas, but I don't know what was it, the quarterback or was it the offense? So I like the guy from Texas, but I don't think he's going to jump.
That's always a good question. That's always a good question. All right, now I can see you, Lester, man. Now I can see you.
At the backyard for a little bit there, guys.
Would you have a tent back there?
Yeah, that's the greenhouse. Fruits, vegetables.
Oh, I thought it was a tent. I'm like, what is it? What is he out there camping tonight?
No. Just a little bit of greenhouse action going on back there.
Oh, growing your own?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm in Virginia.
Okay. Yeah, I would like to grow. I'm in Jersey. I wouldn't mind growing my own, man. They're killing us slowly with this food.
Yeah.
Don't even get into that. My wife is now we live in farm country, so everything now is raw milk or A2A milk and no preservatives in anything and everything else no pesticides, no anything you can possibly imagine. In other words, nothing that tastes good.
Yeah,
right.
Clean as you want to get it, clean as you can get it. That's all.
We
make it at home at least.
Clean.
I used to live in Amish country. At one point, I was in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and
on purpose.
We're not too far from there.
And, I'm like on purpose.
Yeah, on purpose.
Yeah, on purpose. So when I first purchased the house, it was like back in the 50s. All the neighbors came from everywhere, knocking on the door with all this organic stuff. Stinks like shit out there, but the food tastes great.
Yeah. Dig it.
It's not 13A Turnpike though. Smell T-Brad. I'm just gonna
no, that's a different. That's a different type of stench.
That's a different kind of stench.
Oh yeah.
Put it this way: we have the horse shit smell around here all the time.
So, oh God!
You kind of get used to it after a while.
You don't. We've been here 3 years. No, you don't.
I was coming through there from Niagara Falls just Tuesday. And I promise you, I smelt it. I was sitting there, my wife's eating some chips. I'm like, what the hell is that? I said, you better close them up. That's going to taste like horse shit and barbecue chips. And you don't want that combination.
Well, it could be worse. Right now, we're dealing with coyotes.
Oh, wow.
So now that when I walk the dogs outside, our area in the back is pitch black, and all you see is trees and a marsh. So I literally have a headlamp on where I scan everything, just look for the eyes.
Yeah.
Look and make sure. I love it when neighbors like, we got to look out for them coyotes. I'm like, where the hell do I live?
Yeah.
Once your dog gets big, though, your dog will be able to hold them off. Once your dog gets big, an adult, your dog will be able to hold them off.
But I got a long way to go.
Yeah. You got to get them there first.
I got to get them by the freaking coyote.
Yeah, keep them off the menu.
You're not not the coyotes, not Lester's greenhouse.
So somebody said 10 wins. The Giants. Oh man, listen, I don't see that happening.
Who said 10 wins? Who's on crack?
I'm reading the caption. I saw somebody say that the Giants will get 10 wins
right now. I'm willing to bet that person right now.
It's not happening.
Tim, you hold the money, and I'll bet Captain Alvarez whatever you want.
I will 10 wins. That's
10 wins. Yeah, right.
10 wins.
Oh, that's right. We got Brian Burns. I got it.
Yeah.
I love this stuff. This is the comment of the day. He's so racist, he drafts other black players.
Okay. Let me dive into that.
No.
Get nothing.
No, sorry.
You lose. Good day, sir.
Now you can do it because that was probably one of the dumbest comments I've seen in days.
Okay.
Go ahead, T. I'm going to take that one.
Okay. I know that slave masters weren't racist because they had more black people living on the property than white people. That's basically what you said. So I wanted you to really get the authenticity of what you said. And like I said, I didn't say that the Giants were racist.
Right.
Because I wouldn't be a fan. I just said they have I'm black. And I know a lot of black people. I like to put that out there now. Yes, every day. Every day.
Dude, you gotta tell me these things before we become friends and hang out. What the hell, man?
It's too late now.
I'm gonna bring this up now. I've been out with your loving wife. Next, you're gonna tell me Lester's black.
Hey,
Right.
And guess what? My wife is black too, and so are my kids.
No.
I know plenty of black people, and I don't think I'd be a fan of the Giants if they were racist. And I look at it much like the Giants have a mindset about quarterback the way people over 70 have a mindset about cannabis. If you're over 70 and you never smoked weed, you probably still think it's a gateway drug. So you're
Right.
stuck in that mindset. And when it comes to the Giants, they are stuck in a mindset when it comes to quarterback. You cannot justify poor play. Literally, the analytics of why you receive your paycheck can be poor, and then you go up and double down on that and pay more because this part isn't working. I don't know where you guys work, Tim. I know where you. But what I'm saying is, think of any job you had in the past that rewards bad work for what you do. It rewards it, and he's been rewarded. And not only that, given an excuse as to why things aren't working out. Like if you're late for work tomorrow and the turnpike was shut down, they don't give a damn. You should have known the turnpike was going to be shut down and arrive on time. You're fired. But with Daniel Jones thing, we are so determined. And for the person who said that comment, you ask yourself, not just the Giants, any quarterback that was held on to with the performance that Daniel Jones is given and given the money he's got. Give me anybody. I'll wait. Black or white, I'll wait.
You're right.
Anyone who receives the bag has usually done a lot of work in getting their final big.
They've done something to achieve
right.
it.
They get their final big contract. Like, thank you for all that you've done.
Right.
Like Eli's last contract.
Just to double down on what you said, I don't think the Giants organization is racist. I mean, they have a prototype. I mean, Jerry Reese was a general manager. Geno Smith was the one who ended Eli's starting streak. So I don't think that they're racist. Stupid, I just think that they have a prototypical type. They have a type. Like, men have a type when it comes to women. They have a type. But I will say this, the Giants organization has been around since 1925.
Yep.
And we've never drafted a starting black quarterback. We're in a division where every team in our division at some point has started a black quarterback,
including the Redskins.
From Doug Williams.
Doug Williams, Jason Campbell.
Yeah, you had Jason Campbell. You had the Eagles. I could think of.
Eagles got a gang of Randall Cunningham. They got a gang
Randall
of
Cunningham, Pete,
Vic, Rodney Pete. Rodney Pete.
Yeah, Rodney
I know
Pete.
you going.
He started for Dallas and
name it. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, even in Dallas, in the Texas where it's supposed to be, in the deep South where they're quote unquote racist. So I don't think
Quincy Carter.
Yeah, Chrissy Carter.
Yeah.
So I don't think the Giants are racist. I just think that
they stuck in the old ways.
Yeah, Mara's stuck in his ways, and
stuck in the old ways. That's what it is.
Unfortunately, he's one of those owners that doesn't want to admit when he's made a mistake, because I believe he put pressure on Shane to re-sign Jones. But once he re-signed him, and now he doubled down on the decision by not drafting a quarterback, you got to go down with that shit, brother. And I think
they're definitely going down the ship.
Yeah, he's going to go down with that ship. I wouldn't bet my job on Daniel Jones.
No. Giants 34.
I wouldn't bet my trash on Daniel Jones.
Another man's trash is just another man's garbage. And we've learned a lot today on this show. T-Brad's black. Lester's black.
Right.
Next thing you're going to fuck with me and tell me James Williams is black now.
Right. Is he?
I think so.
Like, I got nothing else to be worried about these days.
And we have black friends.
Right.
And you have black friends, and Daniel Jones still sucks. Get a gun for the Coyotes. You know what's scary? I actually wear a Glock 19 with a light on it when I go walk the dogs.
That'll get them.
So, and the light is one of those lights that literally lights up like the whole backyard. So I might miss, but at least I'll see them coming. But that's at the end of the day, guys. because I got to wrap this up because I got a couple things I got to do. I'm gonna start with you, Lester. At the end of the day, after the draft, after free agency, is this team better or worse than last year?
I think they're worse than last year. I really do. And the reason I said is because, you drafted quite possibly the best receiver in the draft. Some people would have Harrison Jr. first, but you still need a QB to get the ball to set player. There are plenty of plays where I saw Slayton wide open, Hyatt wide open, and this guy's very conservative. He checks down. He's the check down king. You don't have a legitimate. You don't have that stud running back in the backfield anymore to take the weight off of him. And you didn't replace McKinney. You're waiting for Dory to come back. I don't know how that's going to turn out. Waller's up in the air. We lost a lot of key pieces, and I just don't think we got better, man. I think we got worse, to be honest with you. That's just my humble opinion. Our secondary, outside of Banks, and if he takes the next step this season, who are these opposing receivers going to fare back there? So I think we got worse. I think we're going to win less games this season. I think
blame the offensive line. That's all.
The offensive line, but that's yet to be proven. We have to see. We have to see how that works out. So I don't think that we improved. Maybe on the defensive line, we improved. But again, Kayvon's a little inconsistent. And Tim, as you mentioned previously, Brian Burns is like a Kayvon 2.0. So we got to wait and see, man. There's just too much in the air. I don't think we got better. My humble opinion.
T-Brad, I want to ask you this question because ask me, and this is a question I've heard before, and this is something I want to ask you about. People don't understand generational racism. Merritt doesn't want a black dude being the face of the franchise. He doesn't care about the other positions. It's a status thing. My mother is in her 90s, and she is from a coal mining town in Pennsylvania, and there was not a lot of people of color where she was from. So she grew up in a certain manner, in a certain way. And I remember, especially back in like high school and things, a lot of my friends, or majority of my friends, because I played ball, were either Hispanic or black. And I remember one day I had some friends over and she was like, "Where's Randy?" And I was like, "Randy." And I couldn't think who she meant for a minute. And she stops at me and she goes, "Randy, the black boy." And she wasn't saying it to be racist.
Right.
It's just the way and the terminology that she used growing up in the 30s and the 40s in a coal mining town. And it to me, it was a generational thing. And I love it because when Randy showed up, he asked my mother directly, "What color do you think I actually am?" And she was like, "Well, you're black." He's like, "Well, just say, Tim's black friend." But so she learned that moment so the question is twofold. Could it be something like a generational racism with Mara? And the other question is, could he learn from someone saying to him, "Hey, listen, you may have X type, but maybe we should just start looking at things differently."
If he hasn't learned by now, I just don't think he will. He'll have to be forced. And this was the year. This was the year for something like that to happen, given the ratio of good black to white quarterbacks in this particular draft. Next year, the ratio is gonna go back. It's gonna be more white quarterbacks at the top, and like just one or maybe two black quarterbacks at the top. So I don't think they can learn that. I think they have to be forced that. They got to get somebody in there, and then they hit their play is so good that they're forced to take them. But I don't think they're going to willingly, especially with this Daniel Jones thing's blowing up in their face. I don't think they're willingly just going to say, "Hey, we believe in you," because I don't. If the picks would have went Drake May and Caleb Williams and Drake May, I don't think we're calling for Jaden Daniels. I don't think we're pushing a button and making that call.
Really?
I can't prove what didn't happen, but I don't think we're making that call. They've shown me over the last 3 years that you can be a quarterback like Daniel Jones and get all the excuses in the world, and you can put in the work like Saquon Barkley on and off the field, and be shown the door. This shows you where we're at as an organization. We've been last playoffs was 2022. Last time the Giants were really a meaningful team was 2011. It has been what, 12, 13 years
Yeah.
going into, that's a long time. That's a very long time to be like to be in the state that we're in. So for us to think that we're just going to magically change, maybe we're going to need a decade of losing for us to say, you know what, maybe we need to change what we got. And to your other question, we're definitely worse than we were last year because not we're worse because of two things. One, we're worse. Two, everyone around us is better. Everyone in our division is better. That automatically makes us worse. If you take our first pick, Malik Neighbors, you can grade that as an A plus because maybe you took the best player on the board. And by best player, I mean the player who has a clear-cut path to be a blue chip player. Okay? I personally believe Michael Penix is that. So I would have took Michael Penix. But you don't believe that? Fine. I'm cool with that. Then we go to the next round. You replace a Pro Bowl safety with a rookie safety. So that part is a wash, if not worse. Then you take
definitely worse.
yeah.
Not a wash.
It's not a wash at all.
I'm being nice.
You're
I'm
being
being
nice.
nice. I'm being nice as I possibly can be.
T-Brad, think about this,
You've
T-Brad.
seen this show before?
Right? Gellerman drafted McKinney in the second round. He slipped to the second round.
Yeah.
He was first round pick.
Yep.
I just want to add that in there.
Right.
But
And that's another thing. Why do we get talent and develop our good talent to watch it walk away and keep our bad talent at the most crucial position in the
First of all, I have to laugh that LeVar thinks that David Long Jr. is going to be on number 2 corner. He was with 3 teams last year and had a total of 12 tackles. I think he's only started like 7 games in like 5 years. If he is our number 2 corner, we might as well we'll lose -3 games.
I didn't even know David Long Jr. was on the team. So
not David Long Jr., the linebacker out of Miami, who we should have signed out of Tennessee, except we gave all the money to Okereke, even though David Long Jr., who went to Miami, had almost the identical season. No, this is the corner who played with the Raiders, the Packers, and I forget who else last year.
Tim.
Yeah, I have no idea what we think we're doing, but if you go to a cornerback, we went from a Dory Jackson to a rookie. Again, we got worse. You got Theo from out of Penn State. I don't mind that pick.
I don't mind that pick at all.
I don't mind that pick. Especially that was probably the best value pick that we had. Best value.
If he
and
can
then when you go
ball with his blocking, he will be an asset.
Now, I don't know if Spencer Rattler got drafted in the 5th or 6th round.
I think it was 5th round.
I think it was 5th round. Yeah.
I don't know if they picked before us or after us, but in the 5th round, we should have went Spencer Rattler. Now, do I think Spencer Rattler is a great, phenomenal player? No, not necessarily, but he was slated to be the number 1 quarterback at one time. And why not bring in someone with an arm who can compete? And just for everyone who's watching this, I don't want it to necessarily be a black quarterback. I want somebody who can play the fucking position.
Yeah,
we don't have anyone who could play the fucking position. If we had someone who could play, I wouldn't care, black, white, whatever. Eli Manning was white and still is. I don't have a problem with Eli Manning. He got us 2 Super Bowls.
Eli was clutch when he had to be clutch.
Right. So I don't care about the race of the quarterback. But it's something to look at. But I want a good quarterback in the quarterback position of my team.
Yeah.
And it seems like I'm sitting here watching, damn, even Houston's got a quarterback. The Bears got a quarterback. Ever since we got Daniel Jones, some teams have had 2 or 3 quarterbacks.
Yep. The Jets.
I mean, look, we bought Russell Wilson in and told him he didn't have a shot at starting because Daniel Jones is a starter. And he walked out the door. Here's my thing, Tim, to your question is that not only did we get worse, our division got significantly better.
That's a great point. That is a fantastic point.
Yeah, we got neighbors, but Philadelphia brought in two of the best corners in the draft.
Philadelphia retooled.
They signed Saquon. They run again. What do you think is going to happen when Saquon come to MetLife behind that Eagles O-line? And that
3 touchdowns total.
And
the
they
150 yards on the ground, 80 yards receiving.
They've had Kelsey's replacement in house for the last 3 years.
Right. And I believe they also brought in another tight end. They retooled. They retooled. Now, Dallas was already a good team, so they didn't do too much, in my opinion, in free agency, but they addressed some needs in the draft. And then Washington, who we would beat up on perennially, brought in probably one of the best, if not one of the best, or maybe the best QB in this rookie class. And once he develops into something, you can no longer pencil that in. So what have we done? So just in our division alone, if in the year 6, if you have a QB that's supposed to be competing to win our division, he's going to be worse than a rookie that we just brought in my humble opinion. Just think about that. In year 6.
I'm going to think about that. And guys, I got to close it out because I'm late tonight. This is Tim Stewart, Giants Straight Talk, powered by Online Big Blue LLC. Want to thank T. Brown and Mr. Lester for coming in. Hope everyone has yourself a good weekend. We'll have a video out on Friday. Make sure you watch it. Thank you, guys. You know what? And we're out of here. Peace.
All right. Peace out. Thanks, Tim.